It was my idea after coming into the building a number of times and feeling very let down about what was on the walls.
You know, Harriet's an artist. She's been a curator of a museum. And so it was really her idea, her inspiration that led to this. And she was pushing on an open door because, you know, I do believe that we need to find interesting and novel ways to expose people to the Institute, to our work, to our philosophy.
I basically took some of my notes and put them for more detail in the proposal because I knew that this was a new experience, and I think you have to be introduced to it differently than something you've always been doing, a research project, an article, a book.
We had over 500 artists submit over 2,000 works of art. And you know, I don't think we would have seen nearly that much interest if it had been known that we were going to somehow be censoring, you know, the submissions or limiting the pieces that were included in the exhibition to things that conform with Cato's particular point of view. And that in and of itself would have been self-defeating because the objective was to try to bring people of all viewpoints to the Institute.
When you come into the show, you don't have to wear a button about what your political views are. You're free, as the name of the exhibit says. You're free to look at it any way you want, from any point of view, from any political background. And you're free to have communication with the artwork without saying a word.
When I painted the Take One, which is a series of newspaper stands, my idea is that we have choices here in America. I come from a country where sometimes press is suppressed. So here, I am a firm believer in art as a messenger because as an artist, we can be the messenger to show this idea of freedom. That was important to me.
The call was from the Cato Institute, which is a very strong, well-known voice in Washington. I've lived in Washington many years, and I disagree with many of the Institute's positions. But the theme is using art to foster dialogue, and I believe that art can change the world.
It was an exhibition that was just going to invite arguments. It was going to invite people together who were going to disagree with each other, and it could be challenging. But the more I thought about that, the more I thought that was a great reason to enter, partly just to see what would happen, to see if they would accept me, if they would like the kind of things that I do, and then maybe to be part of the conversations that would result, which again seemed guaranteed that there would be, you know, some challenging conversations would happen as a result. And I decided I wanted to be part of that.
I think rightly so, you want to preserve the maximum amount of freedom of expression. But, you know, I think that when you commission, especially public works of art, it doesn't take a lot of forethought to realize that you may go to one kind of artist for a mural in an elementary school and another sort of artist if you're commissioning works for an academic exhibition on race and gender.
I think if you're offended by something, it comes back to you and you think about it and it's like, well, maybe it makes you question, ideally it makes you question your values a little bit or your, you know, preconceived ideas.
At first, I thought, oh, this is going to be some nice little show. And then it grew and the interest grew and the importance of it grew to everybody working on it. And more superb work came into it. And so, yes, it did. The ads and the people and the coverage, most of it was more than I could have dreamed.
It was actually really gratifying to see that, you know, it felt like making the decision to do it seemed like the point was that Cato was reaching out to people beyond their own kind of where they were ideologically, to start a conversation around something that everyone has a piece of in some way.